If you'd like to develop precise, accurate volleys that you can rely on in any singles or doubles situation, then this is the video that you've been looking for. You're about to see special footage from a 2-day intensive volley clinic held here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You'll see our students guided step by step towards a fundamentally sound volley from the ground up. Plus, at the end of this video, you'll also be able to download a detailed action plan to follow the very next time you're on the court so you don't waste a single minute. For right now, let's get right to the court and start talking about what grip is best for volley success.
Grip is key because if you have the wrong grip, it can set you up for difficulties or making life harder than it has to be if you don't have the right grip. And what's important is having the same grip for both sides and as neutral as possible. So somewhere close to continental is definitely what I recommend, and that basically has your index finger knuckle on the second bevel starting from the top. So Carlos, since you're a right-handed player, that's right here, so this is continental. And Rob, since you're left-handed, it's one spot over to the left on that first angled bevel. Now, yep, that's it right there. Besides the big knuckle being in the right spot, the other important thing is that your hand is spread out across the handle and not straight across the handle, which both you guys have right now.
Here's why having something at least close to a continental grip on both sides is important at the net.
As we go through each of these different types of volleys, we're going to find that most of them, it's important to have an open racket face, not square or closed. Occasionally, we can be close enough, and we'll talk about these shots, where you can hit the ball downwards towards our target. Most shots have to come up off the racket first. And if you have more of a forehand grip, that closes the racket face. And it's still possible to open it, but it starts to get awkward beyond a certain point. So continental is a nice neutral grip that makes it easy to open the racket face on both sides, which makes it very natural to be able to hit a variety of different feel or touch shots, which is what most volleys are.
Next, it's important to understand how the body should move together to keep your volleys precise and consistent, starting with the initial setup.
The first thing we're going to talk about is the first move that should be made on any volley, and that is from a neutral position right in front of you. The first thing that should happen to take the racket back is a unit turn with your entire upper body. So from the hips up, everything, let's say for a forehand volley for a righty, or for a lefty, should rotate towards your dominant side. And this should be done with your torso as a whole. So big mistake that players make is bringing the racket back with their hand or their arm. This promotes really sloppy technique and doesn't keep the racket connected with the rest of the body, which is really kind of your support system, which can keep things really solid and steady and precise. Anytime you use the small parts of your body to move the racket around, the racket face moves around a lot as well, and that's what tells the ball where to go. So if you start with this, chances are your results are going to be very random. So the first thing we're going to do instead is make a unit turn using the entire body towards forehand side, and your outside foot, so right foot for righty, left foot for lefty, should make a little bit of a pivot to allow that rotation to happen. So this is right-handed, this is left-handed. And as you do that, all you're going to do is open the racket face in preparation for contact. If the first move you make has the racket face square, meaning flat or perpendicular to the court surface, you're setting yourself up for a ball into the net on most shots. Occasionally you're going to be close enough, the ball is going to be high enough that you can hit it squarely or maybe even a little bit closed. But for the vast majority of volleys, we need an open racket face at contact.
The take back for a backhand volley follows the same basic fundamentals with one main difference.
On your forehand side, we want our hands to separate as the racket is taken back to our setup position with the unit turn to the side. On the backhand side, depending on your ready position, if your non-dominant hand starts on the grip for your ready position, then you can keep it there until the ball approaches your racket, at which point you'll just separate your hands. If you like to have your hand on the throat of the racket, which is my preference, same thing. Hand just stays on the throat of the racket until the ball approaches your strings, and then you'll just separate from there. So on the forehand side, you'll separate as that unit turn is made. Backhand side, you can keep both hands on the racket, and then we'll talk about how to actually hit the ball in a minute. But the main thing here is the use of your entire body to prepare the racket, as opposed to just using your hand or your arm to lay the racket back.
Now it's time to start working our way through some step-by-step drill progressions that we've developed to build a solid foundation for volley success. Please don't be fooled. This may seem overly simple at first, but in my experience, it's critical to help build feel, awareness, and understanding in students so that they can get the net results they want.
To start with, we're going to make things as simple as humanly possible. I'm going to have my continental grip. I'm going to rotate to my forehand side. We're going to start off with just forehands. Ira's going to toss a ball to me underhand, and my goal here is going to be to make that unit turn, pivot with my outside foot, lay the racket open, and just intercept the ball. So I'm not going to be doing any actual hitting here. I'm just going to do my best to keep it as simple as possible and let the ball bounce off my racket back to Ira. So I'm going to be right about the middle of the service box. Ira's going to toss to my forehand side, and I'm going to let the ball bounce off my racket with my racket in front of the front edge of my body with an open racket face. And if my racket face is open, then the ball will naturally come back up and back to Ira. You'll notice that there's a little bit of an arced path to my shot. So I'm not hitting the ball directly at Ira. I'm just softly allowing it to bounce off. And what I'm trying to do here is be as soft as possible and basically just do the bare minimum technique or energy at contact. I'm making it as simple as humanly possible.
Our students were both off to a great start, but one of them needed to simplify her racket movement a little bit, which is incredibly common. Pay close attention to my comment about quality of contact as well, because it's critical to your success.
So Carly, your next couple reps, I want you to focus on doing less. You probably feel like you're not doing much already, but you're actually you are still hitting the ball forwards towards Kirby. It's very little, but I'd like to see you, can you toss me a couple, Kirby? Just watch my racket, please, Carla. Don't watch the ball at all. So there's a difference between this and this, where there's kind of a hit. I exaggerated slightly compared to what you were doing, but it's the same principle. So I'd really like to see you take that out of it and just leave the racket there. Looking for a really precise, good. Now, the only reason why I didn't make it was because the ball hit down here on your racket. Otherwise, it would have made it. Good, good. Clean it up even more. Make it more simple. Excellent. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Better, better. Good. Good. And even leave the racket there for a half a second. Yep. Just to kind of demonstrate that you have control over what the racket head is doing. Excellent. That's it. That's it.
Now that we have the simplest base possible for our new volley technique, we'll progress to the next drill, which incorporates a guide of the ball.
Now we're going to add some more distance between us and our target, which is our tosser. And we're going to be about 2 steps or so inside the service line. So we have more distance to make our shot carry, but keep in mind, there's also more distance for her to get the ball to me, which means there's more momentum on the ball as it gets to my strings compared to how much was on the ball a second ago when we were a little bit closer. So all that to say that we're going to use a little more energy through contact, but not a lot, because she's giving us more as well. So we're going to now start to push, or guide is the word I like to use, through the point of contact, a couple more inches than we were before, but the same fundamentals apply. If we have a nice solid base, we make good contact, and the racket is open, that's going to be 90% of the work that we need to do to get the ball back over. So Kirby's going to alternate between my forehand and backhand. I'm now, another 6 feet further back, and my goal is to achieve the same result as before. Have the ball come up softly off my racket and then arc back down to her. And so you'll see my racket now moving or guiding through the ball towards Kirby by a couple inches, but not very much. I'm not hitting the ball, which is what most players are doing to their volleys, is hitting the volley. And what we're doing here is being fundamentally sound technique-wise and then just guiding the ball in the direction we want it to go in.
After some student practice, we moved on to the next drill progression, which features a slow, calm rally with a little bit more space between the hitter and the target, while developing feel for a little bit more force through contact without losing control.
All right, Ira, so they're gonna bounce. Ira's gonna aim back to me in the air. And this is gonna be a really controlled pace. I'm glad you gave me the benefit of the doubt. So if a shot is a little bit short, I'll be a little bit more open with my racket face and or a little bit firmer with my hand at contact. If I hit a little bit deeper than what I wanted, then I'll be a little bit softer with my hand on the next shot and or a little bit more closed with my racket face. And so this is just all about being precise with those variables. If you look at my racket, instead of watching the ball back and forth, just watch my racket for a few repetitions. You'll see that my technique very closely mirrors what we were doing before. Just putting the racket behind the ball, leaving it there, and then I'm just experimenting with different angles and different firmnesses at contact.
Before our students jumped into practice, I had a quick explanation of the difference between a good net player and a poor net player. And understanding this is really critical to your success.
This is the furthest distance we've had between our facilitator and you, which means the ball has the most energy on it of any drill we've done today. Most tennis players, as progressively the ball is faster and faster, has more and more energy, do more and more with the racket. My goal for you guys is to do the opposite, do less and less, because you understand that all you have to do is redirect that energy instead of having to add on top of it.
Both of our students made huge improvements throughout the day, but check out Rob in the blue shirt as he starts nailing his target over and over by following our simplicity progressions.
Nice, Rob. Yeah, that's it, man, that's it. Really clean technique. Nice shot, man. Yeah, good shot. No, do it again. Are you serious? I mean, Rob, you're about to hit more targets than you've ever hit in your life if you continue to execute the way that we've been talking about. You're going to be shocked at how accurate you're about to become. Nice, man. What was that? 3 target hits in like 60 seconds? Nice job.
So how can we maintain this kind of precision in the middle of a real-life point situation? Well, the short answer is training, and also becoming more aware of all the different elements that constantly change and require adjustment during a rally back and forth.
Position is a big one. Contact height is a big one. The speed at which, he's not hitting you exactly the same speed every time. The faster he hits to you, the less work you need to do. The type of rotation that's on the ball affects how the ball's. So when you think about all these variables that are all happening at the same time, like in different combinations, the chances of doing stuff with your racket and like being accurate is astronomically poor. So this is why we've started really, really simply and tried to build on top of that foundation of simplicity, because if you don't at least have control of your racket face, if you don't have awareness or of everything else that's going on top of that, it's almost impossible to have good accuracy and reliability.
Now we advance to our most difficult progression of the day, where making small tweaks and adjustments really becomes critical. Listen carefully as I describe which changes to make to achieve exactly the results you want.
Ira's now going to be back behind the baseline by a step, and you'll notice that our target is now deeper than it was before. So our position's not going to change, but the person who is working with us, their position is, and our target's going to change. So shots that land on the service line are now short of our target. Do you guys know how much space is between the service line and the baseline?
No.
18 feet, which is three of me.
Between where and where?
Service line and the baseline.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, it looks like 12.
Yeah. So we just moved the cone 9 feet further back. So if my volley hits the service line, I'm well short of my target. So my next shot will have either a more open racket or a little bit more firmness at contact, or maybe I hit it a little off center. This is where we need to be able to diagnose what's going on. If I hit past the service line, then I'm either a little too firm or a little too open, or a combination of both. All right, let's rally a couple, Ira. And I'd like you guys to watch my racket, please. Come on. I gotta try to catch up to Rob. Ah. So my technique as far as how much my racket is moving is really not going to change. I'm hitting a little bit firmer through the ball, but I'm still not hitting the ball through the ball. I'm really just redirecting. It's a little too open. That's just about right. Oh.
Next, our students jumped in to start developing their awareness and control of the different elements I demonstrated.
So emphasis here is on maintaining really simple technique, focus on quality of contact, and then make small adjustments with your racket face. That's it, Rob. Okay. Was it off center or too closed? I heard it, yeah. That didn't go nearly as deep as it should have. So don't hit any harder, just make sure that you clean up the contact. Nice.
Now you have knowledge about what it takes to hit the volleys you've always wanted, but you'll only change your habits and your level of play with deliberate, purposeful practice, focusing on the drills and techniques that you just saw. To help you do that, I want to give you a detailed, step-by-step practice plan that you can use the very next time you step out onto the court. You'll be able to follow the same process our students did to get results like them. Simply click the link in the description down below and let us know where to send your free download, or go to www.volleyactionplan.com and enter your email address. I can't wait to hear about your volley improvements. We have lots more volley coaching coming out soon, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of them. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and click like, and also be sure to leave any comments or questions you may have down below. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your tennis.